on banking on AI, and really what does it take to get AI all incorporated into the system, as well as successfully deployed and used any capabilities from there. Please stop me anytime for questions I can't see, and I won't be able to look at the chat, but I think you'll be able to help me with that, right?
I can ask some questions at the end, Tina, no problem. Yeah, I'll put them to you if we get some.
Wonderful. So I think everybody has heard Sarah talk, and about bias and all that kind of things when we have to work on use cases. So what are the current AI use cases that I am working on with my AI team currently to support the bank in this environment? So on the screen is just very general, big use cases that we work on. One disclaimer here is anything I speak out today is my own opinion and not of the bank. So if you have questions and you ask, hey, Tina, what's your opinion on, or what are your process or framework to commercialize any of this use case, that is mine of my own. So getting back to the slide, one of the big thing about using AI in this environment, especially throughout the pandemic, is fraud detection. A lot of speech analytics as well as document automation, because everybody have to be now at home on the computer. So with a big bank like us, right? We are the fourth largest bank. And a lot of paperwork, a lot of meeting in person no longer exists. So we have to really scale AI capability in a very fast pace. So within that, obviously the traditional credit lending, underwriting, customer segmentation, customer acquisition via targeted marketing. Again, as we go through this pandemic and really moving everything to digital, to working from home, and people calling and talking to banker and interacting with the bank, how do we make sure that we target the right customer for the right product? But also when they talk to us, how do we make sure that we get to the point quick enough? If they're on the call for so long, we don't want them to have to repeat. And all of that work is being done in the background by AI machine learning capability. Customer attrition prevention, huge right now. People are burnt out, and bankers are burnt out. Data scientists are burnt out. Marketers are burnt out. So a lot of time right now with this market, we have to focus a lot on attrition. How do we make sure that we support our customer emotionally and also through the products that we design? So the customer attrition prevention here is not only in attrition of trying to keep customer loyal and with us, it's also about how do we strategize and design our product, as well as how do we make sure that internally our bankers, our data scientists don't leave us either from being burnt out, right? Video analytics is huge, very fun and exciting things. It's really using video to optimize our resources, our branches, our ATM, and making sure that, the lines, now that things are opened up in the US, that customer are not piling up and waiting 30 minutes to talk to somebody. Or how do we redesign our branches so that when customer come in, the flow seems very welcoming and also efficient for their activities in the bank. So these are the general use cases that I work on a regular basis. There are also a lot of emergency things that we have to make sure we work on using advanced analytics. So there are some use cases that it's actually even harder to do all the rules and workflow than building an AI ML technologies. And that's where my team comes in also, because Traditional analytics cannot do it. So for example, remediations of a lot of customer who apply for deferment from the pandemic for their mortgage, for example, right? So how do we now look at all the documents and all the application where the word pandemic happens on there and whatever? So you apply NLP on all of that to kind of pick out the customers that are impacted. From there, how do we make sure that we kind of support our customers while maintaining the bank and the philosophy of the bank, as well as making sure our customers don't keep digging themselves in a hole if they delay their mortgage payment? So all of that, the ethics come into place, the bias come into place, the operation comes into play, efficiency comes into play. So in every single step, whenever my team comes in and was asked to solve a problem for the company, all of that is being considered on just one single use case. Any question on this slide before I move on? Okay, so now that we have so many use cases in this new environment, what is the biggest challenge in AI use cases in banking? I think you have heard this before, data, right? In a perfect world, we would have all types of data in there, but we don't. Also in a perfect world, all data would actually be cleaned up and connect. The one thing about big companies and about customers and about our environment right now is the data are silo in different databases, in different storage and being used differently. So how do we connect this and streamline that so we provide a picture, a complete and accurate picture of our customer? That is the biggest challenge that we face. Number two is knowledge of AI and its impact and its limitation. A lot of time when people comes, so my customers are internal customer executives. So say my CMO come, our chief marketing officer, and say, I want a model to help me to increase our ROI for marketing fivefold, right? An AI technology. And actually, when we really dig deep and build those the solution out, you don't really need a model. Sometimes it's just a bunch of rules putting together. So a lot of time the word AI or ML being thrown out there with the assumptions that they know what it is, which they don't. So my customers are always kind of, when they come in and ask for a request, I always sit down and say, let me ask you, what do you assume AI can do? Also, do you know about the limitation of AI? So Sarah mentioned that, right? A lot of time we can really commercialize a model the way it is or achieve some kind of threshold that the executive asked for in terms of accuracy and whatnot, because there are features that we are not allowed to use, like age, income, and zip code or whatever. Those are discriminatory or could be discriminatory features to use in any models. So there is a lot of limitation for AI and machine learning in the finance industry right now. Another one is model risk governance. Again, you heard that, we are a very regulated industry. We have to follow multiple risk, legal, compliance steps and processes. So that actually, by the time a model is built all the way to production, it could take months and sometimes years. How do we make sure that we are agile enough and also we collaborate enough that we produce a solution that is on time and ethical and also, follow all the rules and also help the customers? The whole point of everything that I do on a day-to-day basis is, how do I make my customers' financial lives easier? How do I protect them from events like the pandemic to be able to plan for the next phase? How do I make sure that my customer, when they come to the bank and sit down with the banker, that we ask the right questions and not, and also with those questions, how do you translate that to answer that is not super biased that then went into the model building and all that stuff? So when we talk about risk, legal, compliance, and governance, it's not only do we have to follow the rules and be legally operating with all the OCCs and all the federal guidelines, we also have to think about how does that then also impact our customers. So model risk governance is not only that rules and regulation, but it's also a very much human piece that we have to take into consideration. Production. A lot of time you work with AI data scientists. My team are incredibly talented. We have PhDs with years and years of experience in research. They also have papers they publish everywhere. They're recognized all over the world. So they know and they are excited about finding the next cool things, right? However, to a certain point, we work in a business, we work in the bank, especially we need to make money. So how do you make sure that you keep the team excited on new technology and innovation and continue to do their research while continue to commercialize product and solution to help move the company forward? So those are the four biggest challenges that we currently have and are continue to improve on. The next slide talked about this is what we have found to be incredibly successful and also a need in every organizations, especially in the finance industry, is a dire need for a comprehensive AI team. Now, what does comprehensive means? It's a big thing. So on the right side, you see data scientists, obviously. You have to have it. Engineers, yep, they help with the data input, and then also they help with the commercializations, which is also a big challenge from the previous slide. So you need data scientists and engineers in one team together. You need product managers. A lot of time when we need to move fast or move slow and achieve multiple requirements, not only for customer, but also for finance, for marketing, for everything else, the product manager is a huge role in terms of helping the data scientist and the engineer get to their goal, design the right product that will fit the need, the original need. Project managers, scrum masters. So project manager, scrum master, and product manager go hand in hand. However, they are two separate entities that support the team. Project manager and scrum master move with the team, right? If you have a waterfall system, you have project manager. You have agile system, you have scrum master. Within the bank, my bank, we actually have both disciplined at the same time because there are big, huge capital expenditures that need project managers because it lasted years. But there's also things we need to move right away, especially during the pandemic. We need to be as agile as possible. So within the AI team, we need both, not just project managers, not just scrum master, but both. Legal counsel, this is a big piece. A lot of time the legal counsel stay in their organization to make sure the company don't get sued, right? Or keeping everything legally compliant. You actually, for an AI team to work, especially in this environment where regulations and risk and all of the ethical standards are being asked and reviewed in a very detailed way into the banking system, the legal counsel need to be embedded into your team. They need to be in every exploratory meeting to say, okay, can we even touch that data? Number one. Okay, sounds good. We can touch the data. We do these things. How does legal support model risk governance? That's the next piece of the pie. There is risk consultant. There are times when, and a lot of companies have this structure where legal is outside there and only being consulted when an adverse event happen, and then risk consultant is the risk team that actually say, no, we can't do this, no, we can't do this. And it's most of the time, unfortunately, stifle innovation within the data AI team. But risk consultant and legal together actually is a huge combination that really lift up innovation, because in terms of risk, they can say, hey, here's the risk that we would face. And these are all of the issues that would have come. And then legal comes in and said, yes, and here's how we can mitigate that. So the two of them together actually pushed production out in a safe place. And again, as Sarah mentioned before, I think diversity, huge in everything that we do. If you have a team with just one voice, one view, and you don't have any discussion or any disagreement, that's where you know, hey, I need to start looking at other talents to add on to the diversity, because diversity itself within the team, diversity of technology, diversity of data set is what make a model and a AI solution actually successful. So if any of these pieces of the pie is not in an AI team and not in that organization, you will face the challenges that I mentioned before. So that is the end of my slideshow, and really want to focus on questions and anything that you have come up after the slideshow.